afternoon, good evening. This is Doug with News and Views by Doug. So whenever you're watching this video, thank you very much for watching. And this is my podcast where I talk about world events, politics, and pretty much anything else I feel like talking about. And today we're going to be talking politics. Let me go ahead and move this over so you can hear me more clearly. So, many of you know about Ilhan Omar. The congresswoman from the state of Minnesota, where there's been lots and lots of fraud, and a large majority of it committed by the Somalian population that's there. And that's who elected Ilhan to Congress. She is Somalian. During the civil war in Somalia, she was part of the governmental faction, and her father was high up in the military. And when they got overthrown, he and his family escaped to the United States. Now, over the last couple of years, she's been suspected of fraud, not only in immigrating to the United States, committing fraud, but it's also been alleged that she married her own brother to get him into the United States. And now they're looking at her financials. This woman at one point claimed that she had, let me see here exactly what it says. She claimed that her worth, her and her husband, were between $6 million to $30 million, which is pretty hilarious because before she was in Congress, she had nothing. Matter of fact, she was in debt. Then she marries this guy, an American, who also it's been allegedly claimed that he committed fraud in a lot of marijuana dispensaries and some other businesses. So she was claiming that she's worth between $6 to $30 million. And then suddenly, when people started questioning where's the money coming from, she suddenly changed over the weekend. Oh no, she's only worth between $18,000 to $95,000. And this pretty much said it was a discrepancy in accounting. Now, one of the funniest things, and again, if this wasn't so sad, it would be funny, is that she and her husband owned, or supposedly owned, a winery in California, which would be against her Muslim religion. When people went to go look for this winery up in Northern California, they couldn't find it. Couldn't find any bottles of wine with their label. Couldn't find the actual land where the winery was supposed to be. And yet it was supposed to be worth millions. Well, when those questions came up, as of yesterday, paperwork was submitted to the California state government dissolving the LLC that it was under. Now, mind you, there's no winery. There never was a winery. So just more fraud. And the big question is she going to resign? You know, you have a major accounting issue, between $60 million and suddenly you're only worth maybe 95. And the allegations on her immigration status and her brother's status and her third husband's status and the winery. I mean, it just continues. And she's also a member of the Squad, which is 4 women in Congress. One of them, the most famous, is AOC, who's a clown on all her own. And so there's a lot of questions if Omar's going to end up resigning her seat in Congress. And she's also made all these claims that the Somalians built America. Yeah, they couldn't build shit in Africa, but they come to the United States and they built America. It's bizarre. So anyways, folks, we got to watch all of our representatives in Congress and the Senate. We had the one congresswoman in Florida who committed fraud, and she resigned. We've got another guy in Florida, a Republican, who they're claiming domestic violence and other things. He says he's not going to resign, but I think both the Republicans and the Democrats in Florida are trying to get him to leave. But there's just fraud and bullshit everywhere. Look at Eric Sowell. You know, he resigned from Congress. Is he going to be brought up on charges? You know, he was the first one constantly screaming about Trump being a pedophile and on the Epstein list. And, you know, it's gotten to the point now where those that scream the loudest are guilty of something. Just here in California with all the fraud, you know, we've got the Attorney General Bonta. He's supposed to be going after the fraudsters. His wife, who's an assembly person, she is trying to get laws enacted that will stop freelance investigators from going after these fraudulent companies. And now Gavin Newsom is claiming, hey, we've been after these people in the hospices and the daycare centers for years. Well, if you've been after them for years, why didn't you shut them down? Why is it taking the federal government to come in and cut off the funding? Why did it take Nick Shirley, who destroyed Minnesota in their fraud, why did it take him coming to California before you announced that you guys have been doing these investigations? Oh yeah, by the way, law enforcement in Orange County just arrested a huge amount of Mexican mafia cartel types. Santa Ana and other places in Orange County. What's happened to America? It's not the America I grew up in. Anyways, folks, stay safe. If you like this channel, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. If you don't like what I have to say, give me a thumbs down. But no matter how you feel, give me your opinion. You take care, folks. Sorry for rambling on.